Hello and happy Boxing Day. I know all of you are busy unboxing whatever you were given yesterday, and I do hope that you had a Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining TV47. This is Body Garage with me, Sheila Chelangat, and as you can see, our table is full with a lot of meals, and I know this was the situation yesterday, and so on this episode we focus on nutrition during the festive season. And with me is Dr. Meresia Atieno from the Kijabe Hospital. Hello, and could you please introduce yourself to us?
Okay, thank you, Sheila. My name is Meresia Atieno Nguka, as she has said. I am a clinical nutritionist at AIC Kijabe Hospital, currently stationed in the ICU ward, where we engage with managing patients with different conditions and just giving general counseling to our patients based on healthy eating habits and nutritional therapy in some of the conditions that do require our attention.
All right, thank you, Meresia. And I know that yesterday our viewers did have, a lot of hearty meals on their tables as well as delicious treats. And I do not know if they actually maintained, nutrition in their minds. So let's begin with, what is a balanced diet and what consists of a balanced diet?
Thank you for that. It's true. Yesterday we had abundance of food. Like we had various types of food where we were able to indulge in. Balanced diet simply refers to ensuring that we have we obtain nutrients from different food groups. You see, we have our foods being classified in different food groups, and with this is what determines the nutritional value of this food to our bodies. We could have the general classification, the ones that we also learned when we were in primary. I think it was in class 4, where we have foods being classified as carbohydrates, then we have the proteins, and then we have the vitamins and
yes,
minerals. So with that, again, you'll find that it's again been divided. Nowadays, actually, we don't use the term balanced diet, but we use diversified foods, which means you're able to obtain your foods from different food groups. Because when we say balance just from, let's say, carbohydrate, then we find someone just taking maybe to ugali, and then that one becomes like the main thing that they are consuming. But when we say diversified, now let's say you've taken ugali today, then the next day you can have something like chapati. So we are trying to not just ensuring that it is balanced, but ensuring that it is diversified as well. So balanced, ensuring that we obtain nutrients from the different food groups. We don't just rely on one particular food. At the end of the day, we are only getting one nutrient, and we are missing on the other nutrients.
And you've talked about now diversified. We should call it diversified. What is the nutritional guide for different age groups? Let's say now, let's begin with even, lactating mothers. What does good nutrition look like for them?
For the lactation mothers, you find that we have different food groups for different age groups. I don't know if I'll have the time to go into all the different food groups.
Like just come through it. Scan through it.
Okay, thank you. For the lactating mothers, they have up to 10 food groups. You'll find that we have the first food group, which is based on the starch tubers, and then on the grain products. It's not just about the nutrient content. That again, we try to look at what most these food group provides to the body. Like the ones that I have mentioned, they provide us with energy. That's most what the proportion of that food group provide. Then we have the groups of legumes. Legumes do stand alone. We have the things like beans, then we have things like lentils. They do give us proteins, but at the same time they also give us fiber. So they have proteins, but they also have fiber, being that they are obtained from, most of them they are obtained from the soil. They are plant proteins. Then we have the groups of nuts and seeds. These ones are now again on a different group on its own. Other than protein, they also do provide the body with healthy oils and healthier fats, which we really do encourage, especially being that we have the NCDs on the rise, the non-communicable diseases. So we really advocate advocate for the healthier oils. Then we go to the meat products. Meat products, they do stand alone because of their rich in iron. Now compared to the plant proteins, the plant proteins, yes, they do provide the protein, but they're not as rich in iron compared to the meat products. Then we have an egg standing alone as well, not just on the protein. The egg stands alone because just one egg provides us with all the essential. There's something called the essential amino acids, which the body requires. Compared to the meat, you'll need like three pieces, the size of the matchbox, not the big one, but the one the normal size, the small one. You need like 3 pieces. But for an egg, just one will provide us with all the essential amino acids, and it is a whole protein. Actually, the protein value is normally measured against the egg, and also there's something called bioavailability. All the iron and all the protein in eggs is being absorbed. There's nothing that hinders the absorption. From there, we go to the groups of dairy and dairy products. There, the standalone nutrient is calcium. And this is something that is very key to our lactating moms. The calcium needs are normally also very high because, again, the infant also depends on on what mom consumes. And then now we go to we have the dark green leafy vegetables. Those ones also they stand alone as well. They are rich in fiber. Yes, they're also rich in vitamin A. Other than that, then we could have the other vegetables now, things like cabbage, the broccoli. They also now come in. They're also rich in fiber, but they're not rich in vitamin A compared to the dark green leafy vegetables. Then we have the colored fruits, which are rich in vitamin A, the likes of mango, pawpaws, and then we have now the other fruits now coming in as well. So you find that these groups, they have been divided based on what they do provide to our bodies. When we go to the children again, especially when they're starting complementary feeding, that is from 6 months, they also have their different food groups. We normally have around 7. And it's also just the same, it's more the same like for the lactating moms, but you find that for these ones, there is a way in which now we combine maybe nuts and seeds together with the legumes. They're not different, it's not in a different food group. And for the lactating moms, I've talked of the 10. For us to ensure that they get adequate nutrition, then we have to ensure that they get at least 5, because it's not ideal for them to be able to take all these in a single day, but at least 5 out of the 10, then we will be certain that they are able to meet their nutrient requirement. There's also the other group of the elderly. Like I've said, nutrition is more of specific. It's individualized.
It's personal.
Yes, we can't have a generalized aspect on what each and every person is supposed to take. There are those nutrients of concern in different groups. Like for the mothers, I've talked of especially calcium, and also iron as well is also key. For children actually, it's they need all the nutrients, and we normally focus on things like vitamin A for the immunity, and also things like vitamin C, because they are growing, they are susceptible to infections because the immune system again is not well developed. Then we have the group of the elderly. The elderly again, we now come again starting to focus on things like calcium, things like hydration, because again when they're growing, you find that for them to be able to have that sensation of thirst, it's normally a concern, and that is when you find us having issues with maybe things like kidney, like they're not hydrating properly. So you find that we try to address some of the nutrients of concern in different groups, and maybe just try to also identify some of the challenges that are associated with these groups nutritionally, and then we'll be able to address them.
Okay, you've touched on the elderly, the lactating moms, the children. What about the teenagers and the young adults?
teenagers and young adults. That one is also a very crucial group. At times it's normally missed. You see, we focus on the mother and then on the child, and then they're in between. They're in between adults, in between child, and then all. But they're also very critical, because during adolescence, again, we find there is that there's this thing we call the growth spurts. That's when now there's that rapid change in terms of either weight, height, and then you find that there is also increased requirement. And during this time, again, we also have various nutrients of concern as well. A good example, especially being iron, especially for the girls. We have things like zinc, which is also essential when it comes to reproductive health. And other than that, we also have to address the issues of eating disorders. This is where we face a lot of anorexia, a lot of bulimia, and this one again, we don't just handle it by ourselves, but we work hand in hand with our psychologists. They do help us with such. And yeah, it's also a critical phase that we also address.
Okay, now let's switch gears and get festive a little bit. What are some of the nutritional challenges during this time that you as a professional do encounter people?
During festive, actually, it is a challenge, especially when we have clients whom we've been working on. Maybe they had a resolution to work on their weight. We've done meal plans for them. They were following it. They were following the meal plan to the letter. But now the festive comes, and then we have variety of foods. We have food in abundance. Actually, yes, it is celebration, and most of us, we celebrate through food. And when there is no food, that one is not a celebration. Yeah. So that's it is a challenge, being that we celebrate through food, and then something else. It's normally provided in plenty. Sorry, it's normally provided in abundance, and so at times it really requires a lot of discipline for one to be able to maneuver through all that abundance and still maintain the portion that we had been talking about, or even the healthier choices that we have been discussing. And you'll find that it's even published in some of the research papers that there is a tendency of people gaining weight during the festive season. Okay. And you find that festive is not just on the 25th alone. There are those people who start getting into, as early as 20th, or even just as soon as the children are back home, and they go all the way to the first week of January. So that's a period where, we do find clients gaining some weight, which they said they were not able to control themselves, or not being able to maneuver through all the abundance that was present, and being able just to maintain the portion.
And you say that there is abundance, and so I'm wondering, so then how do I balance this, diversify my diet and, at the same time keep it healthy?
So we really try to encourage portioning, even when it comes to, we can take rice, we can take a piece of chapati, you can still take a piece of ugali, but you try to maintain that portion, so that you don't take a lot of ugali. You want to take 2 chapatis. You try to still balance your plate such that even at the end of the day, yes, you've taken all the starch, but you've still maintained that portion as well. So
all right. And I'm glad that you've brought about portioning, and we will be talking about that just after this first commercial break. And I hope that you are watching and also ready to learn about how then we can now at least try and balance this diet as we head on to the festivities of the new year. But do not go too far. Keep it TV 47. All right, welcome back. This is Body Garage with Sheila Chelangat, and on this episode we're focusing on nutrition during the festive season. And I am with Meresia Atieno from the Kijabe Hospital. And just before the break, you had touched on portioning. Now, could you now show us how to portion a general diet?
Thank you. We'll dive right into it.
Okay.
Our table has different foods. So, going to take a few pieces.
Okay.
For the general, when we are talking about the starch group, we normally give them up to 1.5 cup. We normally have a measuring cup when doing our meal planning and portioning.
Okay.
And the cup is normally 250 mils.
Okay.
We're just saying general today because we are here, but as I said before, nutrition is more of individualized. I'm just trying to portion on the starch.
Okay.
And then now on the vegetables, we were able to get mixed veggies, and then with the cabbage, these ones are all they are steamed, because other than just making, other than just eating, we also try to focus on the methods of preparation. We want you to enjoy the food, yes, and we also want you to watch on your calories, because fat has a lot of calories. Just 1 gram gives us 9 calories.
Okay.
So when you can be able to mix your food such that not all your foods are fried, not all of them contain fat or oil, then we'll be able again to balance on that aspect as well. Like my potatoes are boiled, the rice we had a little bit of oil, the cabbage is steamed, and then we have the meat. The meat is here. For the chapati, it's still the portion of the starch.
Yes.
Then we have the meat, the proteins now. As you can see, it's stewed, and we have some bit of oil in our meat. Yeah.
Okay. So that is the portion for the meat.
Yeah, that is the portion for the meat. For the rice, we had put half a cup. And I've talked of the general population. You can go up to 1.5 cup. And then we've added the boiled potatoes, which we've added just three small pieces, which could accumulate to one medium size of potatoes.
Okay.
And that one is also like one serving as well. Then we just have a piece of mokimo, which we mashed
Potatoes.
arrow roots, and then
arrow
we
roots.
also had arrow roots. It's ndoma, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong. Yes, we had arrow roots. Then we had some maize, and then we had some greens as well, mashed with the mokimo. Then just like a slice of chapati. So these ones could contribute to two servings of carbohydrate, which is adequate for an individual.
Okay.
So we've been able to obtain some rice, some potatoes, we have mokimo, we have chapati. Like, you are able to serve the variety of foods that are provided on the table, but we really don't have to take a whole plate of rice, a whole plate of potatoes. You try to balance in between so that you enjoy everything that is provided, but at the same time you don't take excess or too much of what is provided.
All right, I am looking at your plate, and everything seemed to be boiled, from the potatoes to the steamed rice to the steamed vegetables. Is it really tasty? Will they be tasty for someone who wants to have, a taste?
And that's why we are mixing them with the other foods which we have fried. The rice is not boiled. The rice is we added oil. The boiled we have boiled potatoes, and then with the mokimo, being that the meat is fried. It has oil, and then for the cabbage, we've added some seasoning just to make it taste. And then you see it's not plain cabbage. We also have carrot mixed with it as well, which also will make it tasty. And then we do season. For the mixed veggies, they are not steamed. We were able to saute them on some little oil as well. And then we also have chapati, which we've just prepared the normal way with the normal oil as well.
By taste, I mean, there's someone who has to taste the spice in it, and some of the foods you might overspice them. So what then do I do to ensure that this plate caters to my flavor? It's not just about the oil, it's about also how it tastes.
We've talked of the seasoning of the vegetables. The one that we really didn't season at all was the potatoes. Okay. So when we're able to take them together with the vegetables and with the meat as well, I think we'll be able to get that taste rather than taking potatoes maybe on its own. Yeah.
Okay. And then now, is there another option? What if I do not take rice? What other option can I, add to that?
Okay. And that's we're just doing the demo for. We have variety, and then this is someone who wants to, we have food is now in plenty, and this is the time that I've gotten this opportunity. But it's not cast to stone that you really have to feed on all of these, but you can still go with what you do prefer. So in such a case, let's say you just want to take chapati, maybe with the stew, then you won't just take a quarter piece of chapati. Okay. You can take one, or you can take two, depending on how much you really want that. But let's say it's chapati alone, up to 2, it's still fine. You're able to take that. Let's say you only want to take mokimo. No, you won't take a piece. You'll take half a cup. That's the half of the 250 ml, or the whole of it. Then you'll be able just to balance with the other groups as well. But I was just trying to address, you've gotten food. This is the opportunity for you to now eat the different foods. You found them, they've been provided. Now, how do you go about balancing with that? But there are other options as well.
Now, the goodness of such festive seasons is that I can take a second helping, a third helping. That looks like what would be my first plate. Now, if I'm having a second helping, is it a similar portion?
On the let's say you've taken your first, you've served, and then now you're going again
for a second helping.
For a second.
Yeah. What should the portion look like? Okay. Or should I eat to my fill?
We really encourage people like you eat until you don't eat to get full, but you just eat to quench the hunger. Like you eat until maybe you're not hungry, but not trying to ensure that you are full. Once you've satisfied the hunger, then we really encourage for us to stop. And then something else, just to help us balance between all these, we try to encourage us not to be where the food is at all times, because something that you don't see won't tempt you. So when you've served and maybe you're not hungry anymore, then we really don't encourage you to continue serving, but you can try and stay away from the table maybe during that particular time, because when you'll be going to serve, and this was your portion for the first time. Most of the time we go to serve the second. It's not like the first time. At least maybe now someone will now start picking on what pleased them the most, or what they liked, they liked the most. And we really won't focus on this as much as the first time, when you make the foods for the first time.
Okay, that is now the portion for the general population. You had another portion for someone who has dietary concerns.
Yes, we had another portion for, and I'm going to use diabetes. That is the condition that I'm going to use for today. I don't know if you'll be able to compare the two plates. With me now, I have brown ugali. We find that the group of starch is normally the one of concern to our diabetic patients, because starch is the one that is converted to glucose for it now to provide us with energy. But first it has to provide it to glucose first, and that is something that is of concern to our patients. So we have our brown. This is one serving of the brown ugali, and it's not like for them we have now to limit them, or rather to restrict them during this festive season, just to take one type, one particular group, one particular starch. They can also still enjoy the different foods, but again we try to maintain their portion as well. For them, we really encourage taking whole grain foods, especially in the group of starch. It's not just for them alone, but even as the general population, we can also still take these foods as well. I'm just trying to.
Okay. So that is brown rice as well.
Yeah, this is brown rice as well.
Okay.
We normally have a diabetic plate where we divide the plate into. Let's say this is the whole plate. Then we divide it into half. Then this other half we divide it again, such that a quarter of the plate provides us is where we put our starch. Okay. Then the other quarter we can have our protein. Okay. Let's say it's a chicken. This other one. I love the drumstick. The other quarter is for the for the protein. Then the remaining half now
is vegetable.
The remaining half is vegetable.
Okay.
So they can still enjoy from the different groups as well, but still maintaining their portion, still being able to maintain this plate. Sorry, the belly is a bit small, and we normally take up to around 1 cup for the starch, and being that not everybody at home will be able to do the 1 cup, being able to measure each time that they're going to serve, and that's where we now came in with the diabetic plate, whereby we divide quarter starch, quarter protein, and then the remaining half to be vegetables. Oh, sorry, we also had brown chapati as well. They can these, and also we can still
take in quarters,
divide. We can still have just a piece, and then we'll be able to serve them that as well.
Okay. Now that is what that plate would look like. A lot of it is vegetable, a quarter of protein, as well as a quarter of carbohydrate, of starch. All right, that looks nice, and they can still enjoy it. So then now, that is the difference between the general plate and that plate. Where do the fruits come in?
The fruits they come in as, they don't come in as part of the main meal. For the main meal, we're really concerned with the carbohydrate, the protein, and the vegetables. Fruits can be used. We really don't have a specific time for taking fruit. They can be used as a snack. There are those who prefer taking the fruit before the main meal. With this, it's kind of help with satiety, so that you won't take too much of the main meal now. That those who take it after, it's still fine. But when it comes to patients whom we are really trying to check on their sugars, then we really have to work. In hand with them, so that we're able to count how much carbohydrates they've been able to obtain, and then how much is in the fruit as well. But you can take your fruit anytime. But for our patients, we now have to moderate. They have to take the fruits with moderation. They don't just take let's say a whole fruit, but we have to portion the fruits as well.
Okay, thank you for taking us through portioning of the food. And right now we are up for our second commercial break. When we will be back, now we can discuss about, now we normally have a lot of drinks, which is soda, juices, which is healthy, which is not, and what should you focus on. Do not go too far. Keep it TV 47. All right, welcome back. This is Body Garage with TV 47, and just before the break, we have just talked about portioning. And Meresia, normally during festive seasons, there's a lot of soda, there's a lot of packed juice, the ones that come in packs. Which is the healthier version of it, or how much should I take of the sodas?
For the carbonated drinks, they are high in sugar content. It's good, yes, for us to enjoy, but we really encourage people to try to look at the labels, especially for those of us who are really trying to watch on their diet, working on the amount of calories. We really encourage to check on the labels. We have the diet sodas, which come in with having a lower amount of calories, but let us not just focus on the calories, but we also have to focus on the carbohydrate levels as well. So we can use either that as an option, or we can still use our carbonated, the normal sodas, but again with moderation. Let us not just drink because it is now here. Let us still be mindful of our well-being.
Perhaps
we can still use them. How many
in a meal?
How many every day in a meal? It's normally a time where we have to accompany it with either lunch, we have to accompany it with either supper. But one bottle, the 500 ml could be enough for that particular day, because again we have other sources of carbohydrates that we are taking. We've taken our tea in the morning, maybe we've added sugar as well. But other than the sodas, again we can also opt for other options that doesn't have too much sugar added in them as well. We can go for things like let's say I'll give an example of the hibiscus tea. You can make it, and it's colorful as well. I know children during this particular time,
it's always about the color.
Yeah, it's also about so when it's colorful, again, it's not tend to attract the little ones as well. And then you can spice it up, maybe some lemon juice or orange juice, or maybe add in some honey just to make it tastier, and at the same time you're able to get hydration at that particular time. There are those who could go for things like they normally actually it's just called dawa, where we could add maybe just some ginger, lemon, honey, just making it tasty at that particular time, and also having some nutritional benefits as well. That those of us who are able to blend fruit juices at home, with that you are able to regulate the amount of sugar you're adding, or maybe you don't even have to add the sugar as well. You can you can use the fruits which are sweet. You can add them, and then you still get the sweet taste as well. So we can indulge in, yes, those are the drinks, but I really just encourage us to take them with moderation. Let us be cautious as we enjoy as well.
And also with this time of the year, there comes cakes, desserts, biscuits, cookies. Which would be then the healthier option for that, or what would be the portion that I should take of the same?
For the cakes, biscuits, the only for the healthier option will have the one that you are able to to make by yourself at home, because with that you have the option of regulating. Actually, that those of us who are able to make even without adding the sugar as well, because for the ingredients of cake, we do have wheat flour, we do have eggs, we do have sugar. That those of us who have ice, so those are ingredients which do have nutritional value. Yes, but at times we tend to add I think it will be too much sugar, which again will make us now take again more calories. We're not saying that it's not healthy. They do have nutritional value as well, depending on the ingredients that were added in that particular cake as well. For biscuits, those that are fortified with some micronutrients and some vitamins. So yes, we could take, and the only thing that I'll still continue emphasizing on is moderation. For adults, I know we can work on that, but for the children, they really do rely on us.
Okay.
So we can weigh the options and see which ones we could use, and still seeing about moderation. We really have to focus on that.
Moderation.
Yes.
Okay, and we've talked about everything, but then there's water. What is the role of now hydration in this festive season? How much should we hydrate? Because some people tend to forget. Everything is too sweet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We really need, and I also forgot when we were talking about the different food groups. Water is normally on its own. When it comes, we normally have the food pyramid. We have water at the base, and water has a very important role in our not just during the festive season, but all through. First of all, it helps with the excretion of waste products through the kidney. With that, again, it helps with maintaining the kidney health. Other than that, it also helps with the lubrication of the joints. It also helps with the absorption and digestion as well. So it really has a role when it comes to food and even digestion as well. When we go to how much an individual should take of the water, actually we normally calculate all the fluid intake of an individual, and this one include all the tea, the juice, the soda that you consume in a day. So when we say 2 liters, it's normally we calculate it based on your weight, but you find that average adults, for the ideal weight, is around 45 to around 60, 70, and when we've done that calculation, it comes to around 2 to around 3 liters. So that's where the 2 liters actually was driven from. So it's 2 liters for all the fluids that we do need, and we really try to encourage most of it to be water. There are those of us who come from communities where it's tea most of the time, especially
tea after every meal.
And during this time, like here, it's very cold. You find that people won't take water; they'll rely on tea. But we really encourage most of the fluids to be water, because with the excretion and with the role of water of hydration on the kidneys, it only comes from water and not from these other fluids. So we really have to talk about that. And on water, let me just touch on those with conditions, especially renal issues, where we have fluid restrictions. So for them, they want to go for the 2 to 3 liters. It depends with what their doctors have advised them, together with the nutritionist. It's not cast to stone.
Okay, so we've been talking about food since we began. It has been all talk about food. Then how would you advise me on some of the steps that I should take to avoid, weight gain during this season? Advice for us during the festive season. I'll use we have what we call the 6 principles of meal planning, and I think these ones will guide us. The first one, we talk of adequacy.
Adequacy, here we try to ensure that the food that we provide, it's enough, it's adequate in terms of it's adequate in terms of the nutrients that it provides to our body. Then the second principle is balance. Here we try to ensure that we don't consume too much of one particular food, but we try to ensure that all the foods that we are taking, they're spread across the different food groups that we are taking. Then the third principle is nutrient density. Just ensuring that the food that we are taking, we have what we call energy dense, and then we have the nutrient dense foods. So we have to try to ensure that whatever we are preparing, it's nutrient dense and not energy dense. What do I mean when we say it is energy dense? It only provides more of calories, but it doesn't provide nutrients in terms of the micronutrients, things like iron, zinc, calcium. It's more of energy dense. Like, let's say a cup of uji, just uji with flour, with the flour alone. That one is just the carbohydrates, and then with the carbohydrates and the calories only. But when now we take this uji, maybe we've added in some sugar, we've added in some peanuts, peanut butter. Yeah, so we find that we've tried now to enrich it so that it's now more of nutrient dense and not just calorie, not just energy dense. So nutrient density is it's another principle. Other than that, the other principle is moderation, and this is something that I've been touching each and every time. Moderation, all the foods that we take, yes, they are healthy, but again, too much of it again becomes harmful as well. And that is why we talk of moderation. All the foods, let's say even the starch, and that's why we're trying to portion, just to ensure that we don't take too much of that. And then this is the last one, that is calorie control, ensuring, and this is where now I was bringing in things like the carbonated drinks. They tend to have too much calories compared to things like vegetables, things like fruits and vegetables. They are low in terms of calorie content compared to now maybe things like the carbonated drinks. Ensuring that all the foods that we are preparing, or our meals, they follow these principles. Will ensure that we take foods that are healthy. And the last one is variety. Okay. We have to ensure that it's not just it's not just ugali every day, it's not just chapati. We try just from the group of starch, we are able to take maybe, let's say, ugali, the next day maybe chapati. We don't just stick to one, because again, these different foods, yes, they are starch, but they provide us with different nutrients. Same to vegetables, not just cabbage. Yes. We try to bring in the others as well. Yeah. So all these principles, adequacy, balance, moderation, calorie control, nutrient density, and variety, we really have to factor in this when we are planning our meals, even during this festive season. Okay. And as we are heading into the new year, sometimes you're in large social settings where now you have all this, let's say, unhealthy options. What would you advise somebody who is in such a setting to do? Unhealthy options. We really try. Really try not to. We really try not to say there is a food that is unhealthy. Yes, they all have their nutritional value. Depends with the way in which we prepare, and also now how much now the portion control do come in. And we say that different groups have different requirements. There are those whom will recommend foods with oils. There are those whom will try to restrict the oils. So all the nutrients, they all have functions when it comes to our body. During that time, moderation and portion control is what is very key. We really encourage a lot of discipline. And let's say you are maybe a guest, you've been invited. And we just encourage people to learn to, maybe you can say, because you are a guest, and in our African setup, when you are a guest, you're trained for you to be welcomed, it's food. Actually, my mom says when a visitor comes, you have to serve them. That is that's how to welcome a guest. So at times it's just good to also, maybe you don't want to say no, maybe just to be polite, just maybe use things like later. We just have ways to ensure that we don't take too much of that, but it really goes with an individual. It really goes with discipline and knowing yourself and knowing our needs as well.
Okay, you've said that we can use words such as later, and so let's wrap up, and perhaps your last tip for our viewer.
Let's enjoy the festive season. Eating healthy really doesn't mean that you have to deprive yourself, but we really just have to factor on how to strike a balance between all the foods that have been provided there, and portion control and moderation are very key. I'd really like us to enjoy. Let us enjoy the season, and at the same time, let us try to watch our health and our well-being. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays indeed. Thank you for having us, Meresia. We have learned so much, and for me, my take home is that, you do not have to deprive yourself, but you can strike a balance and ensure that you have a diversified diet. All right, so that is the end of our show today. Thank you for keeping it TV47. I am Sheila Chelangat, and I do hope that you will have yourselves a lovely, festive season, as well as we wait for the new year ahead. Goodbye and good night.